Hey, how y'all doing? It's Jay, the analyst. And today I'm going to show you how to stop using AI like it's Google, basically. I want to help you unlock advanced workflows that actually matter. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. But a reality check, how most people use AI, basically, you're using it as a search replacement. You're asking it basic questions like, what is XYZ? Basic Q&A, how do I do XYZ? Simple content generation, like write me an email, give me a recipe. One-shot request where you ask once and you accept the first answer. And the problem with this is you're treating AI like it's a fancy search engine, which it can be. I believe AI search is going to surpass regular search, but it's so much deeper than that. And I want to introduce you guys to some workflows that will enhance your productivity. So advanced users think differently. The mindset shift, you need to go from asking AI questions to giving AI jobs. And the key differences between asking AI questions and giving AI jobs is you'll be able to use AI as a collaborative partner. You'll be able to create yourself some iterative workflows. The context building over time will make sense because AI remembers all the jobs and tasks that you give it. Structured problem decomposition and process design focus. And the bottom line is advanced users design workflows, not just prompts. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. So the first workflow I want to expose you guys to, if you don't know, is document intelligence. And this is a real example. I'm gonna go through real examples that I actually use regularly. Some of them I'll actually pull up an AI assistant and we'll run through it. But for this one, this first, I'm just gonna tell you about it. It's document intelligence, vendor proposal analysis. This is the real example. I input 3 different utility vendor proposals after we put out a request for proposal. And instead of analyzing all those 50-page documents just manually, I just uploaded it to AI and I gave it a task, basically. And this is the prompt I use, or the task I gave it. So you are a professional procurement manager. Right there, that first initial sentence, that's known as a system prompt. So there's 3 different type of prompts. There's system, user, and assistant. So the system prompt is basically giving the AI a role. And here in this prompt is the system prompt is you are a professional procurement manager. Next, you have the user prompt. And basically that's just your query. So you give it the system prompt. Then after that, you execute your query, which is basically known as the user prompt. Analyze these 3 vendor proposals for electrical grid equipment. Create a comparison matrix covering pricing, technical specs, delivery timelines, warranty terms, and implementation support. Identify red flags and negotiation opportunities for each vendor. That's the user prompt. Then the assistant is basically the output that you get when AI answers your questions. And in this case, a prompt like this is going to deliver this type of output. You're going to get a comprehensive comparison table, a risk assessment for each vendor, cost benefit analysis, recommended negotiation points, implementation timeline comparison. And this is a much better way to initiate this task for AI opposed to just uploading the documents and saying, analyze these 3 documents. You're going to get a way better output doing it this way, using this workflow. Let's move on. So another workflow that I want to expose you guys to is structured analysis. And a real example is something like a budget variance analysis. So here's a scenario that I had, a Q3 utility operations budget showing a 15% variance. So you input the data, which is going to be your monthly expense reports, budget versus actual spending, basically all the reports that you got to give it. And then your AI analysis request is going to be, again, that system prompt. You are a senior financial analyst. Analyze this budget variance data. First, identify the top 3 cost drivers causing variance. Second, calculate the projected year-end impact. Third, recommend specific corrective actions with timelines. Fourth, create a risk assessment if trends continue. You're going to get a very great output when you use an analysis request like this. So yeah, don't think of prompting the AI as prompting the AI. Think of it as giving it task, requests, and jobs. And when you think about it like that, I'm not doing a prompt. I'm giving this tool a task, a request, or a job. You're going to just naturally be very more specific. So moving on. And this one, I'll actually show you guys how to do it. So workflow 3, custom tool creation. So real example, I've done this before, project ROI calculator. So we're going to give initial investment input, operating cost savings, revenue generation potential, payback period calculation, net present value analysis with adjustable discount rates, and risk adjusted returns. So the prompt is going to be, you're an expert developer, that's system prompt again, build an HTML, JavaScript ROI calculator for utility infrastructure projects, include fields for capital investment, annual savings, revenue impact, project lifespan, discount rate, yeah, all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this prompt that I wrote. We're going to go over to a tool, Claude, and we're just going to put this prompt in here, and we're going to let it, we're going to give it this assignment, this job, and we're going to see what it spits out. So yeah, it's doing this thing, and it shouldn't take too long to do it, but as you can see, it's coding up the tool that we asked it to build for us, and then we'll test it out when it's done. So there we go. It just finished. So yeah, it's basically exactly what we asked it to build. And you can even publish this and share it with people. So yeah, we can just play around with it. It has all the inputs that we gave it. See? And it recommends if you should go through with the project or not. Yeah, it's cool that we just built. Should have added a calculate button on here so we can, oh, let me see. Is it automatically? Okay, yeah, it's just changing automatically, so we don't need the calculate button. But yeah, basically, yeah, so that's it. And that's the type of things you can do that can enhance your productivity. So let's move on. Workflow 4, scenario planning. So regulatory impact modeling, that's a real example that I've done before. Scenario was new EPA regulations affecting a wastewater treatment plant operations. So the variables to the model are compliance costs, timeline, alternative energy investments, rate impact on customers, political, public relation factors. And for this AI scenario request, we're going to try this again and see what we get. So let's go back over to our good friend Claude and post that in there. Yeah, so there we have it. So it gave us a pretty good answer. It's comparing all the options. We could have gave it some more data, but it did a pretty good job. And so it went through the risk adjusted cost analysis, and then it provided recommendations. Its primary recommendation was scenario number 2. And so this is the type of stuff you can run through, you can take to your executive leadership, and y'all can go through it and make that decision. So it basically, when you assign AI these type of jobs, it takes out the work that you have to do, and you can focus more on strategy instead of being in the weeds of things. You do still want to double check some of this stuff, just off the strength that you just don't want to blindly trust everything it says. Like, you do want to verify a couple of the numbers and make sure you got everything right. But for the most part, this should severely enhance your workflow and your productivity. So moving on, workflow 5, workflow automation. So a real example is automated project status reports. So basically, you want to chain multiple AI tasks. Task 1, analyze project data from multiple sources. Task 2, identify the risk and the bottlenecks. Task 3, generate executive summaries. Task 4, create stakeholder specific communications. Task 5, update a project dashboard that you might have. And the automation prompt that I will use for something like this is, you are a principal business analyst. Every Friday, analyze our active infrastructure projects. For each project, check budget variance, timeline adherence, resource allocation, and risk factors. Generate a 2-page executive report highlighting projects needing attention. Create separate updates for the executive team, a strategic focus, project managers, operational detail, and finance teams. Budget impacts. So I can't show you this automation because I'm not logged in to my work computer. So I don't have enough data just at home, like, to show you, to run through it. But this is the type of workflow that you can set up. And some automations, you'll need a couple different tools like N8N or Make or whatever you have at your organization. At my organization, I use Power Automate a lot for different things, but it's a bunch of different workflows when it comes to automation. But this is the type of task that you want to give your AI tool when we're talking about automation. So moving on, advanced prompt engineering. So Technique one is basically role-based prompting. It's kind of more that system user prompting I was talking about. It's along those lines. So role-based prompting is an example is you are a utilities project manager with 15 years of experience specializing in grid modernization. You successfully managed $50 million in infrastructure projects and understand regulatory compliance, stakeholder management, and technical implementation challenges. So that's what role-based prompting is. You giving it a role basically. Then moving on, another advanced prompt engineering technique is chain of thought. For example, it's like first you want to analyze the technical feasibility, then assess financial viability, next evaluate regulatory compliance, and finally recommend the implementation approach. That's an example of chain of thought. You're basically giving it a chain of thought. Yeah. Moving on, then you have what's known as constitutional prompting, where you always prioritize safety and regulatory compliance, never recommend shortcuts that compromise public safety, base all recommendations on data and industry best practices. That's known as constitutional prompting. And then you have few shot learning. Here's the examples of how I want my project status update formatted. Example one, then you show them the format. Example two, three, you just show them the format. That's known as few shot learning. And it should remember how you want this set up based on the AI's memory capability. And then you tell it to create the status update for whatever project in this same format. Then you have what's known as iterative refinement. Basically, the process for that is you input your request, you review the output, you refine with specific feedback, and you build on previous context, and you just continue that until it's perfect, or at least good enough for you, however you want to do it. So the real business impact of using these AI tools like this is you have quantified results. You'll have time savings, things like document analysis. You can go from like 5 hours to like 30 minutes. Report creation, take that down from 3 hours to 45 minutes or less. Your data analysis, this could go from like 8 hours down to 2 hours or less. Quantified quality improvements, consistent formatting and analysis, fewer human errors, more comprehensive coverage, better risk identifications. And your career impact is faster project delivery. You'll have higher quality deliverables, more strategic thinking time, competitive advantage in the job market if you know how to use these tools. Because it seems like AI is very hyped, but you'd be surprised how many people do not use AI tools for whatever reason. They don't know about them, they heard about them and don't really care, or they just have some type of they're just against it for whatever reason. They think it uses too much water or too much energy and they just don't want nothing to do with it. So using these tools to enhance your productivity will definitely boost you. But the challenge is most people won't do this. The reality check is, like I was just saying, 90% will probably watch this video and do nothing. 8% will probably try once and quit. But 2% will master some of these techniques that I just talked about. But which percentage would you be in? So I want to give you guys an assignment. I want you to pick one workflow that I talked about today, and I want you to try it this week. I want you to report your results in the comments and level up your career. Go ahead, do that. But thank you. So just like, share, and subscribe, please. And share this to anybody that you feel might need it. But that's all I got for y'all. I'm Jay the Analyst.